Today I'm going to talk about how this group has followed me across 3 states and when and where the harassment starts. In 2012, I lost my home and I moved to a new area and didn't have any problems at the house, just with some people from my old life and in stores and the pharmacy, the comments and that face. Now, I did continue online in Facebook and spiritual groups from California to Florida and Nebraska. I did leave social media around that time also. In 2013, I left Ohio. I had no problems until mid to late 2014. That was about the time the TMAU support group got trolly. I don't know if trolly's a word, but it fits. Found my address on the internet again. And it starts, that face, the comments in stores and food pantries. People quit speaking to me. That's when my dog was poisoned. Now, I really don't believe my landlords were involved. I mean, they were by far the nicest people I've encountered in over a decade. And they lived right down the street, said they drive by several times a day, keep an eye on the place. His sister and brother-in-law live right behind me with their kids. Super nice people. But I had this one neighbor. And for almost a year, the only time I ever saw him was like every 2 or 3 weeks, they'd come out and spend an hour working on the yard. But it started. She'd come out her back door and stand out on the back porch facing my property and just make that fakey cough. When I didn't respond, over the first few weeks, she started coming out in these hot pink sweatpants and bright pink t-shirt, and she would just stare at me anytime I was outside and just make that fakey cough. Now, no one could have thrown tainted food from the street through 20 feet of trees across the yard and over the house to my back door. Nobody was driving back there. I heard everybody who pulled in on that gravel road. So, coincidence? You tell me. So, I moved to Tennessee, and for 9 months I have no problems. I started donating plasma to take care of business, and for 6 months I had no problems. And it was a good working atmosphere. The employees seemed happy. They were chatty and joking, and it just seemed like a decent place. But this one young guy, let's say, just was being too flirty. And all I said, nicely, was I'm not interested. And a few weeks later, I get called into the back, and all the employees are huddled in the back corner. And as I'm being seated, they go, "Ew, ew, something smells," and it's the fake coughs. Just like that. Now, a few quit speaking to me altogether. But the majority, they do the fake coughs, they do the smelly comments, nothing major, the same old game. But then like a month later, this young guy's gone. And they just get nasty. The body shaming, the comments about my hair, about my clothes, the comments I can permanently defer anybody I want for any reason, and of course, the whole she wants some game. The older guy up front asked me 3 different times, he's like, "Why don't you work? You don't look disabled." And when I respond, the whole line of them, tee-hee-hee-hee, they'd all titter. So I just quit responding. I gotta do what I gotta do to make ends meet. And again, I'm just taking my whoopings. Immediately, within the first 2 weeks of that starting at the plasma center, immediately it started at home. Neighbors I never saw were standing out there with their cell phones. Strange cars were parked outside my house. Food pantries, businesses. It got near impossible to get medical care. I contacted DMCA Defender. Emailed back and forth, told them what I'd been through. Told them what I was, how this group had followed me and where I thought it was coming from. And they swore they could help. So in July, I signed up. For 6 months, I got nothing. No monthly updates. No response to my emails. So finally, I'm like, listen, I'm finding my info on the internet again. I haven't got any updates. what's going on. Just give me my money back or whatever. If you're not gonna help me, just give me my money back. So they refunded my money and said, we never said we could keep your information off the white pages. That was it. If I was a betting woman, I bet they found it. You can't tell me all these people across the U.S., all these people across 3 different states, that they're all creating fake profiles to join the secret hate mob. But, hey, I don't know. So I dealt with that for a year. Sat there for another year. And I moved to this area. Now, I waited 4 months before switching to donation centers. Got settled in. Got set up in businesses, doctors, no problems. Well, I had problems with the drug dealer neighbors, but yeah, this property gets a different video. So no problems. And I go into Gastonia to sign up. And they pull up my record from Johnson City. Different company name, same database. And then they pick up the phone and call Johnson City. And the harassment starts immediately. The same old smelly, dirty comments, the fake coughs, the body shaming, the cutting comments about my hair, about my weight, about my car. But wait, it gets better. The fart smells back. They'd sit me in the back row, and employees would walk behind me, and poof, that fart smell I used to get at Micros and Software Answers, and all the employees, tee-hee-hee-hee-hee. Yep, there's an oldie but a goodie that came back. Of course, asking me a question and then angrily cutting me off after 2 words. Bragging about being the boss and I was just a little worker bee. That's another Software Answers and Carry game. New game. Then I get this text. This is my friend. And the picture of this guy, right? No, it's a local number. I don't know anybody, so I ignore it. Sure enough, I go into the plasma center and there he is standing there. Same hat, same outfit. And all the employees are going, tee. Does anyone know who had 828-358-5028 back in August of 17? Another new game. Or old game. Then this woman is setting me up for the first time. And she leans in with that Carrie face and she goes, I hate having to deal with you. I don't say nothing. I just watch. And she goes around to the next person. She's standing on the other side of me. She turns around and she says, ooh, it smells so much better over here. Yep, that Carrie face. Imagine getting a new team lead and being called into this woman's cube and having her roll up into your lap and lean forward into your face and do that to you. Bug-eyed, bared teeth. 12 years of this crap. 12 years. So anyway, that's my perception of how this group has followed me. Until I moved here, I really thought the death threats were just part of the game to make me sound crazy. I really did think they were just having way too much fun messing with me to actually become that physical. Until I moved here. Until my neighbor came over and told me that this group wanted me to lose my faith and to hate the church. I mean, if all of this sounds crazy, it's been unbelievable ever since. And I've had doctors, professionals, everyone say, that sounds crazy. Nobody would do that to you. Nobody would do that to anybody. And who in the world would ever join a group like that? Nobody does that kind of thing. Yeah, well, for 12 years, I've smiled and walked away when I could. I've taken my whoopings when I have to. And I've pushed and fought for my right to get what I pay for, or to at least pay a fair price for what I need. The same as anyone else, not 2 times, 10 times, or 30,000 times more than anyone else would pay for the same service. So, I guess it's time to change how I deal with it. Even if this group was deleted today, they would just move to some other platform. This isn't a centuries-old hate group. This is a grassroots, homegrown hate mob. They're probably training their kids and their grandkids with this group, okay? And Zuckerberg calls this free speech. He feels it's his right to provide a private, secret place for hate groups to hide and recruit and create a mob mentality, unregulated. I've never had the right to defend myself against these attacks for whatever's being said and wherever they're coming from. It's just whoever screams first, whoever screams loudest, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? It's whoever gets the most people on their side first wins, regardless of reality. The police call it the race to the courthouse. And that's what Facebook's become. So you win. I see you. It's been 12 years. It's all about the man god. It's all about the dollar signs. And it's all about the power to screw with people, right? If I hadn't seen this being done to others, by management, by coworkers for years, you might have convinced me I was crazy. And if I hadn't survived years with my ex, and that man had me this close to burning the house down around us in the middle of the night, if he couldn't drive me crazy, well, no, just an easy target. But if this is crazy, and that's the right way, I choose crazy.